How long will you let your emotions speak before your mind does? How many more mornings will you wake up and hand over your power to noise, to impulse, to distractions you never chose? Because let's face it, the man who controls his mouth, his mood, his money, and his mind controls his life. This isn't about motivation. This is about mastery. This is about inner power, the kind that doesn't shout, doesn't prove, doesn't chase. It just is. In a world that rewards noise and reaction, the Stoic man rises by doing the opposite. He speaks less but says more. He feels anger but doesn't serve it. He spends wisely, not to impress, but to build. And he thinks clearly, especially when the world tries to make him forget who he is. Today's video is your roadmap, not to impress others, but to impress discipline on yourself. We'll break down how controlling these 4 domains turns you from scattered to centered, from triggered to focused, from reactive to respected. If you're tired of feeling like your day controls you, this is your wake-up call. So if you're ready to build your Stoic mindset, regain your emotional self-control, and lead your life with clarity, you're in the right place. Like this video, subscribe for more high-value content, and share this with the man who needs to reclaim himself. Let's begin. 1. Control your mouth before it controls your life. Close your mouth to open doors. That's not a proverb. It's survival in a noisy world. Most men bleed influence not because they lack intelligence, but because they speak before they've earned the right to be heard. Your mouth, uncontrolled, becomes a liability. It leaks power, exposes weakness, and trades long-term respect for short-term relief. The man who talks too much often reveals too much. His fears, his ego, his emptiness. But the man who masters silence, he becomes unpredictable. And unpredictability is power. We've been lied to. We're told, speak your mind. But Stoicism flips the script. Silence your mind, then speak. That's not weakness, that's discipline. That's dominance. Because in moments when everyone else reacts, the Stoic pauses. He doesn't speak to fill silence, he speaks to anchor it. When others rant, he reflects. While the world rushes to be loud, he sharpens his words like a blade, used rarely, but with precision. Think about it. A man who speaks less often gets listened to more. That's not coincidence, it's psychology. Words become valuable when they're rare and measured. Your mouth then is not just a tool for communication, it's a weapon. Either it serves your mission or it sabotages it. And that's where most men fail. They try to impress, they try to explain, they try to be understood. But what they don't realize is this: understanding is earned, not demanded. Stoicism teaches, don't be the narrator of your life, be the editor. Cut the noise, edit out the need to comment on everything, to defend every decision, to react to every slight. Because every time you justify yourself to people who don't matter, you give them power. Every time you explain what you're building before it's done, you expose the blueprint to thieves. Talk less, build more. So how do you start? Simple. Begin your day with silence. No need to check your phone. No need to update the world. Ask yourself one question. Does this need to be said? Does it need to be said by me? Does it need to be said now? If it fails any of those, stay silent. That's not passive, it's strategic stillness. Think of your words like currency. The more you print, the less they're worth. Speak to add weight, not to feel light. Speak when your thoughts are sharp, not when your emotions are loud. And if you must speak, train your tone, control your pace, command the room with quiet conviction, not desperate volume. Control your mouth, and you begin to control your mood. You begin to spend your energy, not spill it. You begin to focus on what matters, inner mastery. Remember, the first sign of a truly powerful man? He doesn't talk about it, he just lives it. Quietly, deliberately, unshakably. Your silence is not your weakness, it's your armor. Let others chase noise. You carry calm. 2. Control your mood before the world does. You walk into a room, eyes are watching. The energy shifts before you say a word. Why? Because your mood already entered before your mouth did. That's the truth about power, real power. It's not volume, it's not anger, it's control. Most men today are like unlocked doors. Anything from the outside can push them open. A rude comment, a traffic jam, a missed call. That's all it takes to ruin their day, destroy their focus, collapse their discipline. But here's what the Stoics knew. The man who doesn't train his mood trains the world to control him. Mood isn't just emotion, it's direction. It colors your judgment, tones your speech, fuels your decisions. And the wild thing? Most men treat it like weather. unpredictable, uncontrollable. They wait to feel better before doing better. But your mood isn't a forecast, it's a choice. Every morning, you can wear patience or pride. You can wear calm or chaos, just like you choose your shirt. The Stoics believe this fiercely. Between the stimulus and your response, there's a pause. In that pause, you become either a slave or a general, either ruled by the outside or ruling your inner world. Most men today react, but reaction is cheap. It's instant, it's easy. Someone disrespects you and boom, you lash out, trying to win a moment and lose the war. The Stoic doesn't chase victory in small battles. He chooses the higher war, control of self. Marcus Aurelius sat on the Roman throne and still wrote, "You have power over your mind, not outside events. Realize this and you will find strength." He didn't need to yell to prove strength. His calm was the storm. The truth is, emotion is not the enemy. Mismanaged emotion is. Anger can build a wall or burn a bridge. It depends on the hand that holds it. And if your mood is holding your steering wheel, your life will swerve with every bump in the road. So train it, like you train your body. Wake up and check your emotional posture before your physical one. Don't wait for peace. Practice it. Don't hope for calm. Build it. This is the Stoic path. Emotional strength built one silent moment at a time. You want to be unshakable? Start by not reacting to noise. Let the world talk. Let it test you. But when the fire rises, you stay still. That's discipline. That's mental toughness. That's emotional self-control. It's not natural. It's trained. The mood you master becomes the weapon no one sees coming. And the man who walks in calm even when the room burns, he owns every inch of that silence. So start simple. Tomorrow morning, when the alarm hits and your brain screams 5 more minutes, smile instead. Not because you feel like it, but because you choose to. That smile? That's not weakness. That's war paint. That's a man telling the world, my mood belongs to me, and that's where inner power begins. 3. Mastering your money is mastering your mind. We've all been told that money is a tool, not the goal. But here's the part most men miss. Your spending is not just about dollars. It's a mirror of your discipline. Every purchase is a vote for the man you are becoming, and every impulse buy is a vote against him. The Stoics never saw wealth as evil. They saw the undisciplined attachment to it as the true weakness. They believed that gold in your hand means nothing if you don't have gold in your character. The man who can walk past temptation without reaching for his wallet is the man who has trained not just his habits, but his identity. Now let's pause, not in silence, but in strategy. Because what most people call freedom, swiping cards, chasing trends, living for the weekend, is actually a trap. The real chains? They don't sit on your wrists. They show up in the silent debt, in the anxiety of checking your balance, in the constant need to impress. When your money owns your emotions, your mind is no longer yours. Imagine money as a sword. In the hands of a master, it defends purpose, creates legacy, and cuts through distractions. In the hands of a child, it wounds, it wastes, and it draws blood in places it shouldn't. That's what the Stoic knew. You don't earn more to spend more. You earn more to need less. That's inner wealth. So here's the shift. Stop asking, can I afford it? And start asking, does this strengthen who I am? A cheap thrill that chips away at your long-term power is never a good deal. Spend with intention. Invest like a philosopher. Choose purchases that train your willpower, not your vanity. And you might think, but what's the harm in small luxuries? Here's the harm. Repetition becomes ritual, and rituals become your identity. If your identity is built on indulgence, when pressure hits, discipline crumbles. But when your habits are built on restraint, the storms don't shake you, they sharpen you. A Stoic man isn't poor by choice. He's selective by strength. He doesn't deny himself joy. He refines what joy means. A $3 black coffee, savored in silence while reviewing his goals, gives him more fire than a $300 night he won't remember. Why? Because clarity is the real luxury, not clutter, not status. So today, test yourself. Spend on something that builds your future, not feeds your ego. Delay the impulse. Choose discomfort now to gain freedom later. Let your bank statement reflect not your desires, but your discipline. Train your money and you train your mind. Control your money and you step into the power the world cannot take. Inner power begins when you stop spending for approval and start investing in your identity. 4. Control your mood before it controls your future. Peace is not found in the world. It's forged inside you. Every man thinks he'll rise when the pressure hits, but pressure doesn't raise you. It reveals you. Your mood is the quiet commander of your day. Fail to train it, and it will train wreck everything you touch, your job, your relationships, your reputation. But learn to master it, and you become a fortress, unshaken, deliberate, and dangerously clear. We often wear emotions like hand-me-downs, carried from the past, put on without thinking. Anger from an argument 2 days ago, anxiety from a meeting that hasn't happened yet. Most men don't choose their emotions, they inherit them. That's not strength, that's slavery. Stoicism teaches a new discipline. Pick your mood like you pick your clothes. Don't step out in shame, envy, or panic. Dress your mind in calm, wear confidence, carry patience like armor. People mistake reacting for strength. They believe raising your voice proves power. But real power is silent. Real strength doesn't flinch. It doesn't argue back when insulted. It doesn't rage when ignored. A Stoic knows emotional outbursts are confessions of inner chaos. And silence? That's a declaration of inner control. Here's where most men get it wrong. They wait for calm to arrive. But calm isn't something you stumble into. It's something you practice. In the storm, you don't rise to your intentions. You fall to your training. So train. Wake up before the world does. Breathe before you speak. Pause before you act. Build that gap between trigger and response until it's wide enough for wisdom to enter. Modern life wants to hijack your emotions. News headlines, social media, coworkers, family, even your own inner critic, they all test your mood like it's public property. But your emotions are your responsibility. They are not traffic signals for others to control. They are weapons. Sharpen them. Sheath them when not in use. Use them like a scalpel, not a grenade. And understand this, men who rule their mood rule their outcomes. Because the mood you carry into a negotiation, into an argument, into a room shapes the outcome before a single word is spoken. Energy doesn't lie. Calm carries weight. Anger leaks power. A Stoic does not leak, he directs. This is the practice. Each morning, before the world gets loud, get quiet. Sit in stillness. Breathe. Name your emotion. Don't judge it. Observe it. Then choose your replacement. If fear knocks, open with courage. If anxiety rises, ground yourself in reason. You're not erasing feelings, you're editing them. You're not suppressing, you're selecting. Train your mood like it's your most powerful tool, because it is. And when chaos comes knocking, you won't just endure, you'll dominate. Not because you shouted louder, but because you stayed still when others shattered. That's inner power. That's Stoic control. That's the kind of man the world can't move. 5. Silence is not emptiness, it's strategic power. There is a kind of silence that isn't weakness, it's command. In a world where everyone is shouting to be seen, the man who says nothing often controls the room. His silence isn't empty, it's full of intention, precision, and unshakable awareness. He doesn't need to chase validation or explain his worth, because he is the message. That's the essence of Stoic silence. Not suppression, but strategy. But most people get it wrong. They think staying silent means being passive, being afraid to speak, being soft, so they talk more. They over-explain. They argue to win, not to understand. They let noise spill out of their mouths to fill the silence inside. And in doing so, they lose control, not just of the room, but of themselves. They become reactors, not thinkers. Their words own them, not the other way around. Now shift the frame. Imagine silence as a loaded weapon, held, not fired. You don't need to show it. You don't need to wave it around. You simply know it's there. That's the Stoic silence. It's not the silence of fear. It's the silence of inner power. It's what happens when your mind is so composed, your mouth doesn't need to perform. When your mood is trained, your voice doesn't chase emotion. When your money is disciplined, your words don't beg for attention. It all connects. And when it's time to speak, you speak like a scalpel, not a hammer. Your words cut through fog, not add to it. That's not natural, it's trained. You must choose your words like you choose your investments, deliberate, purposeful, and rare. The Stoics didn't preach silence because they feared confrontation. They practiced silence because it gave them leverage. When you don't respond out of ego, you own the outcome. When you withhold reaction, you multiply respect. And when you let stillness lead, clarity follows. But the modern mind resists stillness. It equates silence with insecurity. We post more, talk louder, explain harder, until our very identity depends on being heard, not being whole. That's the trap. Because once your silence is stolen, so is your sovereignty. A man who cannot stay silent cannot command attention, only noise. So here's the practice. Before you speak, pause. Not to hesitate, but to sharpen. Ask, does this elevate the moment or just fill the air? Speak only if your words serve your principles, not your pride. Speak only if they carry weight, not noise. And when in doubt, choose stillness. In that silence, your mind obeys, your emotions kneel, your power rises. The Stoics didn't chase crowds. They didn't shout their greatness. They sat in quiet rooms, shaping themselves in silence until the world couldn't ignore their presence. Do the same. Let your restraint speak. Let your control echo. Because sometimes the strongest voice is the one that doesn't need to raise itself at all. 6. Control your money like it's your discipline, not your identity. When was the last time you asked yourself why you're spending? Most people don't. They just swipe, click, tap, and call it living. But here's the brutal truth. Uncontrolled spending isn't freedom, it's financial self-sabotage. And more than that, it's identity confusion. You're not your car, you're not your clothes, you're not your credit card limit. Stoicism makes this simple. Spend to become stronger, not to be seen. Our culture sells you the idea that spending is a form of self-worth. Treat yourself becomes a justification for emotional bleeding. But the Stoic path demands you look inward, to spend as a form of discipline, not distraction. Your money, like your mood or your words, is a mirror of your inner control. If it's leaking, so are you. Picture a man who builds wealth not to impress, but to insulate. He invests in skills, not symbols. He budgets not from fear, but from clarity. He tracks his money like a soldier counts his ammo, because every dollar is a decision. And when life throws chaos your way, it's not the flash that saves you. It's the fortress you built brick by brick, dollar by dollar. There's a common mistake, believing that control over money comes after you make more. But the Stoic flips that. You earn more only after you show you can control less. If you can't master $100, you won't master $10,000. Why? Because it's not the number, it's the narrative. A man ruled by impulse doesn't become a king just because the coins grow heavier. Now ask yourself this, do you spend to gain power or to cover pain? One strengthens you, the other softens you. Stoicism doesn't demand that you hoard, it demands that you choose. Spend with purpose. Eliminate the noise. Make every dollar a training session in inner discipline. Not to show off, but to sharpen your edge. Let's ground this in real practice. Before your next purchase, pause. Breathe. Ask, does this align with who I want to become? Not who the algorithm thinks you are. That pause, that 5-second delay, is where your power lives. And if you can master that, you can master much more than money. This isn't about being cheap. It's about being intentional. Money is not your identity. It's your echo. It reflects what you truly value and what you silently tolerate. So speak with your wallet like you speak with your mind. Precise, disciplined, and clean. Don't let your bank account be a graveyard of emotional impulse. Let it be a journal of conscious choices. Spend less to say more. Build quietly. Train the financial part of your soul until even your money carries the weight of your discipline. That's Stoic wealth. Not what you flash, but what you can withstand. 7. Control your mind, or be controlled forever. Your mind is not just a battlefield. It is the general, the terrain, and the war. If you do not train it to lead, it will betray you to the enemy of distraction, emotion, and noise. This is not philosophy for bookshelves. This is survival in the modern world. We live in an age where every notification tugs your attention, every scroll rewires your brain, and every opinion hijacks your clarity. Men today aren't short on time. They're starved of focus. Focus is not found, it's forged. And if you don't build a mind that obeys your will, the world will rent space in your head for free and dictate your every move. That's not living. That's slavery dressed up as freedom. Most people think mental control is about motivation or positive vibes. It's not. It's about muscle, mental muscle, built with repetition, with silence, with conscious refusal to let thoughts run wild like drunk drivers crashing into every emotion and impulse. They say, just be yourself. But Stoics say, first, train the self. The Stoic way doesn't begin with affirmations. It begins with awareness. Awareness that not every thought deserves a response. Not every feeling deserves a reaction. You are not your thoughts. You are the one watching the thoughts. And until you recognize that separation, you will always obey the loudest voice in your head, not the wisest. Train your thoughts like you train a dog. Be firm, be consistent, be patient. When the mind wanders to fear, call it back. When it chases validation, call it back. When it spirals into overthinking, interrupt it with clarity. Build discipline not just to act, but to think less and choose better. Because every action begins in thought, and every mistake does too. Picture this. Your mind is a control room. Most men leave the door wide open, letting noise, fear, ego, and insecurity storm in and press buttons at random. A Stoic shuts the door, locks it, guards it. And inside he chooses which thoughts to amplify, which to ignore, and which to kill at the gate. He doesn't react, he selects. Most people react because they never rehearse calmly. They've never practiced mental stillness when things are going well, so when pressure hits, they fall. You don't rise to the occasion. You fall to your level of mental training. And that training begins now, not when the chaos comes. So ask yourself, is your mind your ally or your saboteur? Does it serve your mission or distract from it? If you can't answer with confidence, the work begins here. Today, start with one command. I am not my thoughts. Say it when stress spikes, when anger rises, when overthinking begins. Say it until your mind learns who is in charge. And when it does, when your mind becomes a soldier instead of a saboteur, the world will look different, calmer, sharper, slower in all the right ways. Because you won't just think like a Stoic, you'll move like one. Control your mind, or be controlled forever. There is no middle path. 8. Guard your mental gates before the world floods in. There's a silent tax you're paying every day, not with your money, but with your focus. Distraction, overthinking, emotional clutter. You scroll through noise, react to drama, let external chaos rent space in your head for free. But the Stoics knew, what enters your mind shapes your world. Control that gate and you control the kingdom within. Today's world throws open your mental doors. Notifications barge in. Opinions scream at you. Everyone wants access to your thoughts. And yet, most men have no guard, no filter. They absorb everything. Every insult, every headline, every comparison, and then wonder why their peace feels bankrupt. But here's the truth. Your mind isn't a public park. It's a temple. Not everyone deserves a voice in your inner court. Not every thought deserves attention. Not every emotion deserves rehearsal. If you don't become the editor of your mental feed, you'll live like a slave to whatever enters next. It's like leaving your front door wide open in a storm, then blaming the weather for the mess inside. You didn't cause the chaos, but you didn't stop it either. The Stoic doesn't fight the storm. He closes the door. He chooses stillness, not silence of the world, but silence within. The error most people make? They try to fix their outer world first. Quit the job, escape the city, leave the relationship, hoping that peace will follow. But a noisy world can't touch a quiet mind. And a man without inner peace will turn any paradise into a prison. Instead, shift from absorption to intention. Just like you filter what you eat, filter what you think. You wouldn't feed your body trash, so why let garbage occupy your head? Begin small. 10 minutes each morning without input. No screen, no voices, just your breath. Then choose one affirmation, one phrase of clarity, like I am the master of my thoughts, and wear it like armor for the day. This is how you rewire the mind to obey you, not by force, but by discipline. Not by reacting, but by selecting. When the world floods in with noise, you stand still like a mountain, unmoved. That's real control. That's what makes your mind a fortress, not a sponge. So today, guard your gates. Review what you've let in, clean it out, and begin again, this time with intention. Because the man who commands his mental space commands his entire life. And once you master that gate, nothing outside can shake the power that lives within. Now you know. The world will never stop shouting. The chaos won't stop knocking. The distractions won't stop coming. But what changes everything is who you become in the middle of it. This lesson isn't just a reflection, it's a roadmap, a challenge, a practice. Guarding your mental gates means choosing discipline over reaction, clarity over noise, peace over approval. You don't control what the world throws at you, but you do control what you allow in. And that choice, made daily, is where freedom begins. Every day, build your inner citadel. Every morning, before the world wakes, check your mental defenses. Ask, what am I allowing into my mind today? Does it build me or break me? Over time, this single habit sharpens your mental toughness, strengthens your emotional self-control, and rewires your identity into someone who lives with purpose, not pressure. So don't just hear this message, live it. Practice stoic self-discipline. Speak to yourself with calm command. Let stillness become your strength. Let silence be your strategy. Because in a world that profits from your distraction, your attention is your power. If this video spoke to you, share it with someone who needs it. Help them build their own fortress of peace. And in the comments below, I'd love to hear your story. What distractions are you guarding against? What daily habit is helping you reclaim your mind? And most importantly, subscribe if you haven't. Hit like if you felt something shift in you. And remember, every time you choose what to think instead of being told what to think, you step into your real power. The mind obeys the one who leads it, and from this moment on, that leader is you. Keep showing up every single day.